that is also adhyasa. Everything that man thinks is a part of adhyasa. Even theologies, I tell you, we can conclude that God is away from me is adhyasa, within adhyasa. Therefore, every school of thought, every wrong school of thought is a universal school of thought which is contemporary with Vedanta. If it is anadi, Pakshas also anadi. If Dehoham is anadi, if Vedanta is anadi, Dehoham also is anadi. Therefore, Shunyoham also is anadi. Therefore, every theory is anadi. Supposing there is a theory which is not universally felt, then we don't look upon it. Supposing it says, truth is like a bird, supposing somebody, that is not universally felt. I am a bird. I am a bird. Supposing somebody says, I am a bird, and that is a psychotic case. Dehoham is a universal error. All universal errors sound sane. Understand? They sound sanity. You see, because anything universal sounds sanity. Anything universal sounds sanity. It is only Vedanta which comes and says, hey, what looks like universal sanity is insanity in the light of the truth. Error is, therefore, if somebody says, God is particular individual, that is individual. We don't entertain such pakshas. Everything is born of matter. That is also universal paksha. Sankhya is a universal paksha. Vaiseshika is a universal paksha. Shunyavada is Vaiseshika paksha. Even Charvaka of course is a universal paksha. Dehoham comes under Charvaka. Yavat jivet sukham jivet rinam kritva kritam bhavet. Universal paksha. Make yourself happy. Enjoy life. Khavo pivo. Anand lo is dunya mein. Because once you leave the body, once the body is burned to ashes, you don't have to pay back. Your rinam is what? The universe. Yavat jivet sukham jivet rinam kritvapi kritam bhavet. That's universal. This is all Purva-paksha. But we don't analyze. There is nothing to analyze. We dismiss it. We don't refute it. We dismiss it. For some pakshas we say, Sankhya, when we are talking to Sankhya, हाँ जी Sankhya जी बताओ क्या बताना? हाँ जी वैशेषिक जी बताओ क्या बताना? हम सुनेंगे. हाँ जी शून्यवादी बताओ क्या बताना? हम सुनेंगे. We refute them. When it comes to Charvaka, we don't say हाँ जी क्या बताना बताओ. We say shut up, keep quiet. That is called dismissing. Because what is there to refute? इसका कोई बड़ा theory तो है ही नहीं. There is no explanation of the truth in this man. Hari Om Ji. Now we are doing A is the seed Bhavarupam or Abhavarupam. What is this Samvriti? What is this Vyavahara? What is this universal perception? If seed is Bhava, then it can change but not disappear. If it is Abhava, then also it can't disappear. What is not there already, how can it disappear? How can it have Vinash? Therefore, this idea that something perishes is wrong. This very idea, something perishes, is wrong. Something perishes is something, that's used. Strictly speaking, nothing perishes, everything changes and everything goes back to the source. Having gone back to the source, it can again re-manifest. That means it is there. As unmanifest, it is there and it can re-manifest. And even if it is disproved, it is nothing but tattva. In Vedanta, we never conclude it's not there. We always say, we never say pot is not there. We say pot is clay. That is Vedanta. Pot is not there. Is not Vedanta. Pot is clay. We don't say universe is not there. What you see as the universe is Brahman. This is Vastu Nirdharan. Ananyatva Nirdharan. We talk about Ananyatvam. We don't talk about absence. And therefore the questions like, does a jnani see the world? स्वामी जी, जो ब्रह्मज्ञानी होता है वो दुनिया को देखता है? It's a big question. And Vedanta is most distorted in the south, I am telling you. South India is the hotbed of distortions of Vedanta. Because in North India they don't care about Vedanta. अपना राम जी का नाम लेकर चुप रहते हैं. Much better off. अपना काम करते हैं, बाल बच्चों को देखभाल करते हैं, पैसा कमाते हैं, and then मंदिर जाते हैं. Vedanta, forget it, and they are bhakti oriented. North India is bhakti oriented. South India वालों का दिमाग खराब. I've seen in the south, my God, Vedanta distortions. They will ask a question. No North Indian will ever ask a question, does a Brahmajnani see the world? इतना दूर तक वो सोचता ही नहीं है. They don't bother. South Indian will ask a question, does a Brahmajnani see the world? They say, that's never the topic. Does Brahmajnani understand the world that is seen? That is Swabhavikam. Seeing the world is Swabhavikam. That seen world, does the Brahmajnani understand the seen world as non-separate from Brahman? That question you can raise. Then the answer is yes. But you can't ask the question, does he see the world is wrong? Does he see the world is wrong? Does he see the world is wrong? Does he have prarabdham? Is also wrong. Prarabdham everybody has, including, but does a Brahmajnani understand the mithyatvam of sukha dukkha or not? Does he have prarabdha is not the question. Prarabdha everybody has, because when you are born with the prarabdha, therefore until as long as the body is there, you have prarabdha. Man does have prarabdha, man has pleasures, man has pains. Then what question can you raise? Does a Brahmajnani understand the falsity of the pleasures and pains? Does he understand the falsity of pleasures and pains? Falsity of the pleasure. Yes, of course he understands. That can be the question. But if you say, does he have pleasure and pain? Does he feel pleasure and pain? Does he feel pain? Swamiji, do you feel pain? Now I am really started feeling the pain. When you ask a question, Swamiji, do you feel the pain? That really makes you feel the pain. पढ़ाके पूरा पढ़ाने वाला भी बूढ़ा हो गया, और बुढ़ापा में ऐसा प्रश्न पूछना बुढ़ापा के लिए अच्छा नहीं है. हाँ जी, अच्छा नहीं है. Say pain, so what? I say when you are feeling the whole universe to be understood, you feel the pain, so what? That also to be understood. Ananya with the truth. What is this? They try to make it mystical. Anyway, thus all schools, all universal schools are refuted by Vedanta. Therefore, not only Shruti refutes Shunyavada, even Sampradaya refutes. Now you can't say Shunyavada came after Buddha, therefore how can Shruti refute? How can Shruti refute Shunyavada? Because Shunyavada came After Buddha, Ramachandra, no, Shunyavada is not spun by Buddha. Every prophet comes and highlights a given universal error. This I made it very clear long ago. And at that time it just went above, kilometers above the head. Statements just fly off. Nobody can come up with a new theology or a new theory. Everything is already felt universally, and they give language to it. Shunyam is what? Before I was born, there was nothing, I didn't feel anything, and after that, there will be nothing. The emptiness. The sense of emptiness before and after life, is it a new theory or universal? Universal. And Buddha banked on it. इसको popularize करेंगे तो हमारा नाम. Because some universal thing alone has to be, you make it popular. You popularize the idea that is there. You popularize a given universal idea. But universal era, it is not an ordinary, it is not a custom that is popularized. It's not a habit that is popularized. It's not some kind of a belief that is popularized. It is a universal error. Universal error that is popularized. And therefore, this universal error of Shunyavada is as Anadi as Vedanta. Therefore, Vedanta can refute Shunyavada. And what is refuted by Shunyavada can also be refuted by Sampradaya. So Shankaracharya says, Shruti ne do line बताया, now I get the opportunity, उसको पूरा ठीक करके समाप्त कर देता हूँ. तो ठीक कर दिया. That is why he is doing Tandavam. Whenever he gets the opportunity to nip it, he does it very well. प्रतिपादन करने में is very good, और प्रत्याख्यान करने में भी कोई कम नहीं है. He is good in saying what is to be said, and he is very good in dismissing also what is to be dismissed. Okay, now, is the seed bhavam or abhava rupam? He asked the question. If it is bhavam, it has no destruction, it can change but not perish. If it is abhavam, it cannot perish. What is absent? Cannot. Now come the next line. Avayavaha api upamridyante iti chet. Purvapakshi asked the question, sir, just as the seed perishes, even you say the plant is born of the ingredients. Supposing you say the ingredients also perish. The Buddhist wants to say, the Shunyavadi wants to say, the plant rises from nothing. See, this is what he wants to prove. आपको सुनना पड़ेंगे. The plant rises from Shunya, from nothingness. We say, no, it rises from the seed. No, the seed goes, seed perishes. Seed perishes. Then we say, okay, the look of the seed may get distorted, get perished, okay? But then the ingredients of the seed are the ones from which the plant rises. Now the Shunyavadi says, ingredients also perish. The seed perishes and the ingredients also perish. Why? The ingredients are non-separate from the seed. So even the seed perishes, the ingredients also perish. Then what remains? Shunyam. And from that Shunyam rises the plant. This is what Shunyavadi wants us to believe. That is being refuted here. Avayavaha api upamridyante iti chet na. Hey Shunyavadi, if you say that the ingredients also perish as much as the seed, then we say no. Why? Tad avayaveshu tulyatvat. If you say the seed perishes, we say its ingredients remain. If you say its ingredients perish, then we say the limbs of those ingredients remain. Are you able to follow? Because just as the seed has ingredients, Every ingredient has got further ingredients. Like, you make one seed and then split it into two dalas. One seed, break it into two dalas. And one dala can be broken into further dalas. And each bit of the dala can be broken into other dalas. That means what? The ingredients always, the look changes, the ingredients remain. The look changes, the ingredients remain. Therefore the seed, if you say the seed goes, alright, the ingredients remain. If you say the ingredients go, I say the ingredients have got further ingredients, they remain. In this manner, well, ultimately, despite parinama, there is some ingredient left, and that is the source of life, the plant. That is the source of the plant. Yatha, just as, therefore, tad avayaveshu tulyatvat. Yatha, just as, Vainashikanam means those who accept that everything perishes ultimately. Vainashikanam, called Vinasha. Vainashikanam. Bija sanstha rupaha avayavi, the seed, nasti, hiding. According to the Buddhists, the seed nahi hai. Why? Because it comes to an end. Hey, it comes to an end later on. Hey, what comes to an end later on? What comes not to be later on is not even now, according to the Shunyavadi. It is abhav rup hai. Yatha vainashikanam bij sanstha rupaha avayavi nasti, tatha avayavaha api tesham api upamarda anupapattihi. And therefore, if you say the seed is not there and what is not there can't perish, and according to them the limbs also are not there and what is not there can't perish. Yatha vainashikanam vi sanstharupaha vayavi nasti tada vayavaha api tesham upamarda anupapattihi. Up to that, understand this. If the seed is present, it has no destruction. It can change, but not destruction. If the seed is not there, absent, then also it can't perish. And this applies to the ingredients. And that applies to the further ingredients. What is can't go, what is not can't go. What is can't perish. What is can't die, what is not can't die. Means the topic, thinking in terms of the death for what is not is called absurdity. What is dies is absurdity. What is not dies? Absurdity. I will give you another example for absurdity. A cow has 4 legs. Therefore, any animal which has 4 legs is a cow. A cow has 4 legs. Therefore, any animal that has 4 legs is a cow. What is it? Absurdity. Absurdity is a flaw. It's a dosha. Therefore, now what is it that the Siddhanta is trying to prove? Meaning the plant doesn't come out of nothing. Plant comes out of something. Say, either you can say that the plant is born of the ingredients of the seed, or you can say the plant is born of the seed, or you can say it is born of the ingredients of the seed. Either the plant is born of the seed or is born of the ingredients of the seed, but you can't say it is born of shunyam, because it's not. And therefore, if you can't prove anything, any given thing to come out of nothing, if you don't have an example in which something comes out of nothing, then that applies to the universe. The universe also doesn't come out of nothing. It's not that it springs from emptiness. That means if the universe doesn't spring from emptiness, the background to the universe is something solid is there. That is what Vedanta is talking. Bija avayavanam api sukshma avayavaha the ingredients of the seed have further ingredients. It's like the shirt has cotton has fibers, and each fiber has further fibers, and that has got further fibers. Like this you go right up to atoms. A tree has branches, each branch has further branch, and each further branch, secondary branch has got further secondary branches, and every further secondary branch has got further secondary branches. It goes on, endless. But anyway, it will never ultimately give up and become emptiness. It's like matter go on, matter go on. You go on dividing matter, you go on dividing matter. You go on dividing matter. You go on dividing matter. Will it become emptiness? Go on dividing, it will become emptiness. Even when the scientists say it gives up itself, that's not emptiness. When matter gives up itself, it's not emptiness. Why? Because there is an observer. हाँ जी, आवाज नहीं करना. When you divide matter, scientists say it, physicists say it gives up itself. Yes. It gives up itself. But even when it gives up itself, it's not emptiness because it is observer. It's in the form of knowledge. That knowledge is not emptiness. That knowledge is not emptiness. And therefore, where is the question of division culminating in emptiness? Division doesn't culminate in emptiness. Like even you go on dividing time, it doesn't, even when the time gives up itself, it's not emptiness, it is oneself. The observer, when the observed gives up itself, then there is only observer as the truth, as the absolute. When thought gives up itself in sleep, then what remains is the observer, as the absolute. It's not emptiness. This is what ultimately the scientists are going to really, if it really strikes them, when they become sage-like, it will definitely strike them. Then they will come to Vedanta that matter, when it gives up itself, is nothing. What about the knowledge of it? How do you divide the knowledge? How do you go on dividing knowledge to make it give up itself? You can divide matter to give up itself. How can you divide knowledge of matter to give up itself? You can't divide matter. How can you divide the divider to give up himself? ये नहीं होता है जी. ये आडंबर है ना, जीव का कुछ नहीं ना, आडंबर होता है. अच्छे अच्छे कपड़े पहनते हैं, पैसा पॉकेट में पैसा है, कार है, तब सब आडंबर होता है. ये थिंग्स रियली ये सब कुछ है, बट ऐसा नहीं है. इज ऑल आडंबरम ऑफ ए जीवा. छोटा आडंबरम. When Ravana does adambaram, it is quite a big adambaram. If you undo some adambaram, it is a small adambaram. You want to hear an example? Hanumanji was sitting on Arjuna's chariot. रथ में बैठे थे, युद्ध को देखेंगे. तो जैसे युद्ध शुरू हुआ तो उनको नींद आ गई. तो हनुमान जी went to sleep. It's too boring. Such jokers, one person throws something, another person throws something, throwing something, like child's play. He goes to sleep. And at the end of Mahabharata Yuddha, then somebody asked him, Hanumanji, how was the war? He says, what war? I went to sleep. 2 बार थोड़ा सा आडंबर हुआ था. 1 minute के लिए. One old man came and there was a little noise called Bhishma. When Bhishma was fighting, I woke up. And there was a small child called Abhimanyu. Thoda. Ek jhalak, ek second ke liye. I opened my eyes and again fell asleep. Twice I opened my eyes and again fell asleep. Therefore, Bhishma did the Adambara, but for Hanuman what is it? Kuch bhi nahi. Similarly, we human beings, even though we do lot of Adambaram, we are nothing. Because in the light of the truth, this is nothing. It's like a dream. I'll tell you another example. I am dreaming a dream in which I am dreaming a man, and that man is doing Adambara. I am dreaming a dream, I am dreaming a man also, and that man is doing Adambara. His very existence is Kalpita. His Adambara, of course, is Kalpita. Or I see waves of mirage water in sand, and a given wave is displaying its Adambara. I am taller than other waves. One particular wave is involved in Adambara. The Adambaram which was displayed by a given wave is false, because that wave also is false, because that whole thing is mirage water. Kalpita. The Adambaram done by a wave is false, because the wave itself is false. Similarly, me as an individual, I do a lot of Adambara. Me as an individual is false, Adambara also is false. And when we do a lot of Adambara, we think that is real. It is not worth even taking note of. Therefore, here coming back to the point, and people say, you keep dividing matter, it will give up itself, and that's emptiness. You divide time, and then it finally gives up itself, and there is emptiness. You divide thought, gives up itself. When you go on dividing something, it gives up itself. Kuch nahi bachega. Ultimately, you reach a point where further division is not possible, and as though it gives up itself. In fact, it doesn't give up itself. The observer gives up the further division. Bas. The observer gives up the further division. Because the faculties have access only thus far, no further. The eyes have thus far, no further. It's like, you see, I go concentrating on something, I go on thinking, dividing. It's like, I'll give you another example. Two plus two, 4, 4 plus 8, 4 plus 4, 8, 8 plus 8, 16, 16 plus 16, 32, 32 plus 32, 64, 64 plus 64, 1 to 8, like this. Go on. And then I go on multiplying, and after some time, I stop visualizing, and then I give it up. Then I say, that gives up itself. Similarly, division also doesn't give up itself, the very observer gives up the process of dividing. But anyway, whatever is done, but ultimate observer is still there. This is what is being said by the Shastra here. Bija avayavanam api sukshma avayavaha tad avayavanam api anye sukshmatara avayavaha ityevam is prakar prasangasya this topic, anivrittehe. There is never an end to this topic. What is this topic? Every seed has ingredients, ingredients have further ingredients have got still further ingredients, and still further ingredients have got still further ingredients. This particular thing, topic never ends. Never ends. It goes on and on. And if it ends, it is because of the incapacity of the observer to go further. When will the multiplication end? Multiplication never ends because you get tired and you give it up. Similarly, division also never ends. Ultimately, the divider gets tired and he gives up. Why? Because the faculties have certain capacity which have access only thus far, no further. Limited access. They get strained. Faculties get strained, attention gets strained. And therefore, if you say seed perishes, I say ingredients remain. If you say ingredients also perish, then I say their ingredients remain. If you say they also perish, then I say their ingredients remain. Ultimately, the plant comes out of the present ingredients, not out of nothing. A very thorough analysis. And therefore, Sukshma avayavaha tadavayava namapi anye sukshmadara avayavaha ityevam prasangasya anivrittehe. That prasangasya anivrittehe is a quotable quote in any conference. When you have a conference with scientists, you can quote this phrase. Sampradaya says the process of division is endless. Shastra says the process of division is endless. The process of division is endless. It never comes to an end on its own. I give it up. It is like the heights never give up. Supposing, distances never give up themselves. Supposing I travel 1 million miles. And then afterwards another 1 million miles. And I keep going endlessly. Then does it mean that after some time the space gives up itself? No. Distance in space is endless. Endless. Because I can never come to the end of space. Because coming to the end of space, the effort, man's effort should not be to reach the boundary, to reach the end of space. Man's effort is to reach the source of the space, not end of the space. It's not for measuring the immeasurable space. But where is it seen? You see. The Shastra traces space to the seer. I can trace space to its source. That is called Vidya. Finding out where is the limit of space. Where is the boundary of space? Trying to find out the boundary of space, no use, because you can never. Nobody can ever. Because it is Purnam, it is boundless. And therefore, Shastram, space never gives up itself just because you cover distance. Similarly, form never gives up itself just because you go about dividing it. Matter never gives up itself just because you go about dividing it. Time never gives up through division. This is the first flaw. As a student of Vedanta, the first flaw I put my foot down to. When somebody said you go on dividing time, then the time gives up itself. But then I said no. That's not possible. Because mithya, if you go on dividing snake, it doesn't give up itself.